When you're dealing with someone's prized possession, their passion, the last thing they want to see you do is go at it with a frickin' knife. It's like they're thinking, oh, good times. No, that's later on. Right now, it's war. The word out, I'm looking for some new projects. Right away, my buddy Tom hits me up. He says, hey, my friend Bob and I, we got a project. Come on out and see what we're doing. That's a Buick, right? With the portholes on the side?
Yeah, it's a 55 Buick. Yeah, I've always got a bunch of projects lying around. Probably too many. Got it from my dad, I guess. You know, he was always into hot rods and motorcycles and things like that. That's where I got the bug from.
So this thing is cool, man. We could totally work with this.
It's a lot of fun watching Ian walk around like a kid in a candy store, looking at all these different cars that could be potential projects.
Right behind it, across the driveway, is this early 70s Pontiac. This is cool.
Yeah, it's the Ian Roussel thrill driver stunt car, Joey Chitwood. They used to jump them through hoops of fire.
Right, at the fairgrounds,
yeah,
they do all
exactly.
kinds of tricks.
They had stunt drivers, Uni, Roy, and Al. This is Uni. The other two cars, I understand, are gone. So this one's kind of got some history to it.
I've never built one of these cars. I'm intrigued. You know, if Bob wants to jump through the flaming hoop of fury at 150 miles an hour, he's called the right guy. We can make this happen. It's cool. What is this? I'm already digging this car, looking through it, and I'm like, but wait, there's more. What's up? Is this your shop inspector?
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't know where these car-loving animals come from, but they do exist. We have evidence. The dude could never fit in the speaker hole in the rear deck. But you can never replace shop inspector. He's A number one. But hey, we're on location here. We're gonna need some support. Interesting project, man. I can't wait to get started on this thing.
This isn't it. He seems pretty excited about everything that's around here, but he hasn't seen my hot rod yet.
So I don't recognize this truck shell. Is a Dodge?
Nope, International.
Oh, wow.
I'm excited to see what Ian thinks of the work we've done and the work that needs to be done.
I've done a bunch of international stuff. This is old though, like what, 30?
Early to mid-30s.
Walking up on this project, Tom's giving me the spiel, hot rod, etc. But I see it was set out in this pasture for a reason. It's definitely a basket case. Oh man, what's up with the back wall?
There should be a window here.
You ain't kidding.
Right, but it was apparent. It looked like it had been in a wreck. There was a pretty big dent, and the sheet metal was wavy, so it had to go. It's an old farm truck, you know.
I see. The wild card with any old project is the damage or the rust, or the damage and the rust in most cases. And this truck's got a good dose of both. It's not even there to debate. It's pretty rough. Well, I mean, it's definitely unique, the fact that it's an international for sure, but is there like a thing with this? Family heirloom? Or?
Well, there is. I've wanted an international. And when I was looking for a hot rod project, I went back and forth, Chevy, Ford. I kept coming up to international. Well, I struck a deal with my neighbor to get the international. But once we got it home and Bob and I took a look at it, it was really obvious how rough it was and how long it had been sitting.
We started on the cab, and it's got a great style to it, but we kind of gave up on it.
I know it. It's not the prettiest looking thing to look at, but I see the potential in it. I'm really hoping that Ian does too. I know it's pretty rough, but what do you think?
In this, I could see the potential already, right away. But is there more? I mean, cars, they come with like 3 or 4 tires. You got a cab and a bed and a cat. Look at this thing.
So Ian's like, where's the rest of it? And that's when I get really excited, because this is what Bob and I have been working on for some time. And I'm really excited to see what Ian thinks about it.
Oh, so you guys aren't kidding around.
Nope.
This is cool.
Thank you.
Right on. You know, I deal with a lot of pipe dreamers, you know, guys with a piece of metal and a dream, but
right.
I didn't realize you guys are already nailing it. You've been on this for a while.
Oh, yeah.
This is what I was hoping to see. Now we're talking cars. So I don't recognize the frame. What did this come from? You built it, or?
This is custom built.
Nice.
Tommy and I have been building this chassis for quite a while, off and on. We were kind of at a standstill on it. We reached the point to do the body work, and I don't do body work.
Hot Rod Bob, he's been doing this for quite a long time. He knows what he's doing. He's one of those guys that you can learn a lot from.
This is the easy part for me, but that body work, are you sure that thing's hammered?
Well, I mean, I can definitely handle the sheet metal work. If this thing runs and drives, we're in business. You guys got a deal.
All right, cool, great. He was asking if it runs and drives, and he says if it does, he's in. Heck yeah, it runs and drives.
And like instantly, they're grabbing tires, wrenching on stuff, strapping seat on there. It's perfect. 2x4s, ratchet strap. It's gonna be awesome. This definitely looks like you're gonna need a stunt helmet. There it is, it's all you, baby.
It's all you, Bob. They don't call him Hot Rod Bob for nothing.
That's the thing, there's something to be said for seniority, you know. Bob knows his stuff, he's gonna be the test pilot. Period correct, man.
Okay.
The reassuring thing was, at the turn of the key, it fired right up. There it is.
Just seeing it drive around, I'm getting excited.
Oh yeah, dude, that's a total hot rod for sure.
Absolutely.
Somehow, super rough projects are like cosmically drawn to me. It's nice to have one that is pretty far along mechanically.
So, are you into it?
Oh, 100%. Sold.
All right, man.
Totally cool. Let's do it. I can see that this truck really means a lot to Tom, and that's cool. That's why I'm here. You know, I really want to help him out, whatever it takes. Tom's international truck seems like a really good project. He's telling me that, you know, him and Bob have been building the whole thing here at the shop, and I am more than welcome to set up camp here and do what I need to do. You know, it's definitely a good starting point. The body, I do want to see it on the chassis, though. That way, you know, when I get into chopping the top, I want to see how close to your head it's going to be.
I don't know about chopping it, man. Look.
What?
You'll see.
That's exactly why we want to put this thing on. I got to see what's happening.
Don't scratch my authentic patina.
Tom's done a couple really wild projects with me in the past, and I'm excited to get the cab on the chassis, see what he's working with, what ideas he has.
Okay, now here's the problem with chopping it.
I see no problem at all.
Well,
There's almost no metal to chop. Isn't it
keep in
awesome?
mind, I'm like 6 foot to 6'2", depending on what liquor store I walk out of.
Oh.
Now watch this.
In Van Nuys, you're 7 feet.
The problem with chopping this is, as you can see, you bring this roof down any, and I can't see.
Right, you're already sitting on the floor. You can't get any lower.
Right.
Well, I mean, we got to do something, man. Maybe we could just raise the roof, you know, bring it up 4 inches instead. We have plenty of room. I was surprised, but it made sense, you know. Tom wants to stay pretty mild on it. He's a tall guy, he doesn't really want to chop it. I'm just gonna wait it out. I kind of get what you're saying with the chop top. Maybe we could do something cool on the back, you know, put in a cool back window or something different. I mean, all this is pretty ratty. So I think from here, wrap right around. We'll just blank it in, and then maybe we can do something cool with the back window.
I got a couple options for the back window.
Options, baby. It's the spice of life. Let's go looking. Hot Rod Bob is a collector. He's got some stuff. I've gotten a few treasures from him in the past. My kind of collection.
Here's this.
Oh yeah. That's a ship's porthole.
I think you've used something like this before.
Oh wow. Yeah, it's like a camper window.
Yeah,
for
is it?
sure.
Yeah.
That's like almost as wide as your cab.
I really like this one, then, man.
Yeah, you try it out.
Yeah.
See how it looks.
I've got one more option.
All right, let's check it out. Search continues. It's all about keeping an open mind. Oh.
It's the original.
Why didn't you tell me that you had that? I was a little surprised to see this window frame. You know, it's the original.
That's stock right there. That's factory.
Oh, yeah, it's a little bent, but it's usable.
Yeah.
It's really all up to Tom. You know, we can do something really wild, full custom, chop top, the whole deal. In the end, it's Tom's call. It's his truck. First things first is to repair this back wall. You know, I love the fact that the chassis is driving, so let's not take out the gas tank or anything. Let's just pop the cab off, set on a dolly, surgical procedure, like a surgeon's table, like a lab. That cab is pretty rough. You know, we got a lot of work ahead of us, but I need to take a closer look. Now, class, there are a number of things wrong with the back of this truck. So right here, you can see it's out right here. And that's a lot, right? And on this side is the exact opposite. So you got the roller coaster effect. If I was to follow this line with the sheet metal, this is what it'd be doing. It's like way the heck out of shape. Not really sure if Tom knows how far gone this truck is. So the good news is I got a plan, but the not so great news is that instead of just putting this wall in and fixing the window, we kind of got to rehab the back third of the truck. There was numerous impacts. Instead of just putting in a window, let's just fix the whole back of the truck. It's gonna be way better for it. We'll clean all this crud out of here and we'll make it nice. It's never too late to shop it. That's the whole idea here, you know what I'm saying? So once I start working my influence and my hypnotizing ways. How many fingers am I holding up, right? You're going left, you're going right.
No chop.
You're going down a hall, you're turning left, you're turning right. The bottom line is we need to create a whole new rear panel by any means necessary. When you're dealing with someone's prized possession, their passion, the last thing they want to see you do is go at it with a frickin' knife. It's like they're thinking, oh, good times. No, that's later on. Right now it's war. It's like visiting the dentist. Don't be nervous.
Oh, man. Yeah, but even the dentist is painful.
Open your mouth.
It's very hard to watch. Was I expecting him to cut out the whole back of my cab? No.
All right, so now we're gonna do a little tar paper template lesson.
Tar paper?
My neighbor was putting a roof on his shed, so last night I did a little shopping. He was done, you know, he didn't need that.
Okay.
Tar paper isn't your typical template material, but it works, and you gotta use what's available.
Man, if I mess it up, I'll just blame Ian.
I can tell Tom has concerns, but you just gotta work through it.
Ian's a go type of guy, man. He just jumps right in and he starts getting to work. And it's a little bit hard to keep up with him. All right, so why do we put a square tube down here at the bottom and what's with the rod? But I'm trying. So this isn't gonna look like I've got some beaded line going on.
You know, I just gotta say this. You're the most inquisitive client I've ever worked with. You're hitting all the bullet point questions, and I appreciate that.
Good. Well, I'm asking questions because, you know, I'm concerned, I'm curious.
The whole idea with this is you start with a little oversized and trim it back. So this is the story. I mean, the challenging part is this one corner, but the center just falls into place. So you see what you're getting, right?
Oh, yeah. You'd think that going this method would be all choppy and archaic looking, but this is already looking smooth.
Because I got style, my man.
You do.
What do you think you're dealing with here? Got the rear panel in, and we're just checking it out. Now I have to ask. So now the only question I have is, how much are we gonna chop it?
Say chop one more time. I dare you. I double dare you. Ian's relentless, man. He really wants me to chop this truck. I'm thinking no chop, man. I'm too tall. You chop this thing, I'm not gonna be able to drive it.
Still no?
Still no, man.
How about the porthole window? Grab that thing.
Porthole window, all right.
Maybe we can get crazy with the window. Right dead center, man. Ah, look at that. It's perfect.
It looks like a minion.
It does. Yeah, definitely on the same vibe here. No porthole for sure. That's too weird. But the one contender was the oval.
Too weird for Ian.
Well, I'm saying it's too weird for you. I'd have half a dozen of those things in the back of my car. Whoosh.
I gotta take a look at this from back here.
Not sure if either of these are gonna work, but it's his truck.
It looks like a welder.
It does, it looks like a welding helmet.
This is a welding helmet.
Right.
You know, I like it, but I'm thinking that's more of a, if it was necessary, we would use that one.
The only thing I'm thinking about is that the stock one's kind of beat up and dented. We're gonna have to do a little process to that to make it work. If you wanna fit that one up, we'll see how far out of shape it is. That's totally a contender. I mean, that's the right window for the truck. The only issue is, just like the back wall, this thing is all smashed. both of these panels, we're gonna have to straighten. I mean, and if you reverse it, the theoretical flat side on here, you can see it's way out. That's like an inch off.
I can see how bad it is. It's really out of shape. You know, I mean, I like it. I love it because it is the original window.
I can tell Tom's really set on this window frame. Let's see how bad this thing really is. Let's use some envisioning tape. I put this stuff on everything.
I think that center.
Once the envisioning tools come out, it gets kind of serious. What do you think, higher, lower?
Right there, stop. So Ian takes that back window frame and puts it up against the back of the cab with some tape. Yep, it's not looking right.
I mean, the window looks good, but it is bent. It's totally out of shape.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious.
There's always a porthole, man. I know that thing is perfectly round.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, that's pretty rough.
Look at this arch here, and look at this. Tell me it doesn't look like it's out of shape completely.
A little over 9 inches, about 9 3/8 right there. And then we come here, we're almost to 10.
That's what I'm seeing. It's whacked out.
I'm really hoping that Ian can pull some tricks out of his hat to make this thing better.
The good news is we can fix that thing. I got a plan.
You got a plan?
Yeah. About to get medieval on this.
Yeah.
When a piece of metal gets bent, especially sheet metal, the molecules, they get rearranged. It wants to stay in that shape. Heating it up with the torch anneals it. It makes it soft again.
Is this one of the tricks that he has in his hat? I don't know, but I mean, it looks like something that came out of a barbecue. It doesn't look like a good idea.
As well as annealing it also tends to burn it up. That does not concern me. The steel isn't burning. All the crud that's on it is. It looks pretty rough.
Are you sure this is gonna work? What do you mean? Dude, you roasted my window.
This is a pretty unique shape we're dealing with here. So the next step is to make a little dolly tool that we can hammer the thing back into shape with. Red on that side?
Yes, red.
Hi-ya! Dink. Looks pretty darn close, eh? The idea here is when you're away from your shop, sometimes you gotta improvise. You see that dent anywhere?
Yeah, man, it's
Dent
gone.
disappeared.
Man, it was a totally unorthodox way of going about it, but it worked. Ian managed to straighten out this window frame. Wow, man, you did it. Look at that.
Done, done. Tom is super stoked. It's looking good. Now it's just all about the welding. It's the scariest part of sheet metal fabrication is your potential to warp it. The way this is set up, I'm just making every effort to minimize the warpage. Hi-ya!
Wow.
It's not as good as the porthole, but it's pretty good.
No, man, this is better than the porthole. It's such a relief to see it fit back in there.
Man, that looks like a truck. It's a good looking window, man. Good call.
That's awesome.
That old window frame ended up fitting in there pretty good. Almost like it was designed that way. I call this repair complete.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna skim this with filler just to take all these little weld dots out of here, but that's pretty darn straight.
That's amazing, man.
Tom's pretty psyched. I wanna put that cab back on the chassis and see what else he's thinking about. That looks a little bit better, man, for sure.
Oh, wow.
That's cool.
Seeing it back on the chassis, it's really cool. I'm kind of tripping out.
With the back wall there now, you really get that feeling of how raked it is. I really like the stance. Everything that Tom and Bob have done so far is really good. The one thing though, the back wall's totally outshining the rest of the rig now.
What do you mean?
Well, it's like, hey, I'm a back wall. I'm brand new. I'm an old truck.
Yeah? What should we do about that?
Well, that's the thing. There's two options. You could bring the whole truck up to that polished steel finish, or you could try to just, mellow out the back wall. I don't know what what the end game is, what the goal is.
You know, one thing I don't want to do is throw a whole lot of money at it, you know what I mean? I think just matching that panel to the rest of the truck is probably the way to go.
That's up to you. I'm gonna do a little body filler on there, but that's your baby. You're the artist in the house.
I'm the paint guy?
There you go.
All right, I'll do it.
It's your truck.
Yeah, let's see what I come up with. This is a challenge. This is a big, important part of the build. I mean, this is the characteristic of the truck. I don't want to mess it up. I don't know if we can pull it off, but in 2 weeks, my car club's got this meet coming up, and I think it'd really be cool to drive my truck.
You know how I roll, man. I'm budget conscious all the time.
Yeah.
You can make that happen in 2 weeks. These projects can just linger, you know. I'm not saying Bob and Tom were slacking on this, but it's been in progress for a long time. Having a deadline gets everybody motivated. You know, I got a couple ideas for this bed. You know, there's a huge hole in it. Number one, that's all that's bugging me is that, you know, you got your gear. Typically, you throw your stuff in the truck.
Yeah, you know, to be honest, I really didn't think about what was gonna happen back here. I don't know, I'd like to see what you have in mind.
I think we should make, like, literally, like a trunk section here and then cap it. Put a tonneau cover right at this level. That way you can secure it. Nobody's getting at your battery, nobody's getting at your gas tank, nobody's getting at your goods.
I see what you're saying. It definitely will make it look more of a finished product if there's something going on here.
Let's do something steel as a storage bin, and then anything goes on top as long as it fits your aesthetic of what the truck's gonna be. I'll work on that sheet metal stuff, and then, you know, whatever you can come up with on this bed cover.
Wow.
Made some progress, sir.
Geez, I guess. Wow, dang, look at that.
So that helps it out quite a bit.
That's
huh?
gorgeous. The rest looks like heck, but that's nice.
Bob came in and he was jazzed. You know, I explained our plan. I got this idea for the shape here, you know, to accommodate these mechanical parts. So if you guys can figure out something for this cover, I'll work on getting this trunk area set up.
I was telling Ian, you got plenty of stuff out here. I'm pretty sure we can find something to make a cover.
Oh yeah, I've got all kinds of stuff laying around. We'll find something.
I let those guys go on the hunt. It's Tom's truck. They've been collaborating since the start. I'm interested to see what they come up with. The dog is here because the cat quit. I don't know. It just never showed up for work after the first day.
Dude! Yeah, man, Ian brought the shop inspector in today. That's really cool. It's been a while since I've seen the dude.
Now that we got some progress, I figured I'd bring the quality control, you know? Just
Yeah.
a little checkup on things. I did a little sheet metal work back at my shop. So I was thinking it's gonna set right on that cross member and weld right to the frame here. And we'll just put some sides on, so you got this big hollowed out area.
Nice.
The idea with this is it's just a storage spot in the bed. You know, I wanted to get it all set up so that I could finish it off today. This is super basic. I just put this on the sheet metal brake, did a series of folds, and you see I put some little X's in there just to give it some rigidity. And I didn't put walls on it in case we had to change the shape a little, you know.
Oh man, this is gonna work. Oh wow, this trunk that Ian built in the back of the bed, it's really cool. It's gonna come in handy. Yeah, Bob and I, we went and picked a couple things out of the yard for possible cover.
Yeah, let's check that out. This can go in at any time. I was curious to see what they got for bed cover options.
Yeah, check this out.
There's a car hood, right?
Yeah, 68 Mercury Montclair.
It's a big car hood.
It's got a pretty cool body line on it. That might...
That's kind of neat. I did a roof of a hot rod with something similar to this. It was a Mustang hood. I mean, if you like it, you know, to extend this would be a little challenge. You know, you'd have some body work and whatnot if you wanted this detail to come through. Inspector seems concerned. There's a lot of noise from the peanut gallery.
Yeah, no? Is it a no?
There's that stink eye. What do you think? Doesn't seem very enthused, man.
No.
He's a lot happier walking in. All of a sudden, it took a nosedive.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no on this, but I got one more option I want you to check out.
Okay.
I wasn't really sure if it would work, but I figured I'd throw it out there.
The old picnic table. Oh, totally cool. It's wood, it's old school.
It just looks like something that would be in the back of the bed of an old truck.
What do you think about that? Better than a car hood, huh? Heavyweight. Checking it out. Getting a lick of approval. See, right away, you know. That's a good call. He's really into it, and typically when he likes something, he's not afraid to show it. It was his idea. Give him the action.
I prefer the wood in the bed, and dude liked it too. I'd say we're soulmates, but I'm pretty sure that's him and Ian, and so we're just good pals.
That's a keeper. I think we're going with this. A friend of mine does a lot of woodworking and faux finishing, and sometimes for a panel like this that's so fresh and new, he'll take a propane torch and just blast it, like the old Wild West town, you know, with all the gnarly finish. Would take this store-bought looking piece and make it fit to your vintage truck.
Yeah, I'm all for making it look more old school. Like you said, it's a new piece of wood, so again, I'm excited to see what you do with this.
It's gonna be awesome. Look at that. I know that look. As soon as the eyebrows start doing that thing, he's bored. He wants me to get to work. It's time. They say the dog and his master, you know, tend to really become one, you know, and it's true. I don't know how we communicate, because it's usually just like, we get the point across. It's crazy. So the idea is I'll just weld this to the truck, we screw that to the plywood, and I'll weld it right in. The whole idea with this is to hinge up from the back of the cab. So the natural shape of this plywood, if it was screwed down, it would flatten out, but it ain't. So I think we just put some ledges under here, so that way when it hits that, it'll be kind of a pressure shut. Oh man, it looks like $100, $1 million.
Yeah, I'm glad we went this route. I like this a lot.
The real question is, what's it look like after we burn it, baby?
I'm excited to see what this is gonna look like.
Yeah, me too. I've never done this before. I just saw it happen, so.
Wait, you've never done it before? Ian says, oh, I've never done this before. And then he hands me the torch.
The whole process with this build is inclusion, you know? A client can just pay and come back when the project's completed. I like to terrorize the client, engage the client. That way they really appreciate the rewards.
Yeah, look at that.
I think the darker it gets, the better it looks. Keep it cooking it.
I should have known this was gonna happen. I'm on Ian's wild ride.
That looks pretty distressed.
This thing's fun. Actually, I liked it. I'm glad Ian had me do it.
Man, that looks awesome. It was pretty freaking bland, and this made it look as old as your truck itself.
Yeah, man.
That's cool. I was surprised, you know, I figured it would work. I've seen the results, but never been through the process.
Oh, wow.
That really helped the whole rear view of the truck, in my opinion. That thing is nailed.
I'm blown away, man. This was a good choice.
Couple more little bits, and you're in gear, brother.
Yeah.
I was just finishing up the bodywork on the rear of the cab, and the guys are putting in the taillights.
Yeah, I got these cool 1942 Ford taillights. They're the right measurement height-wise to fit that one spot at the bottom of the bed.
There's a bunch of loose ends on this truck, and I know Tom has some ideas about the paint. We haven't really talked about it. I'm just gonna let things develop.
Oh, man.
It's getting there. My goal is to get this thing as straight as possible. That way, when you go forward with the paint, we never have to go back.
Ian's giving me the task of matching the paint. I've never done this before, and I'm kind of nervous. I just want it to be done right. When you give me the go-ahead, I'll slap some paint on it and then scuff it up.
For sure. I'll make it perfect, and then you can screw it up. It's gonna be awesome. And I got another idea for your bed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, the whole thing with that bed cover, tail lights. I got one other idea I want to show you, too. Just thinking how cool this bed looked. You know, just always bring it up a little bit more, maybe. You know, it's wood. I thought it would just be cool to have a metal accent to kind of bring it together. Like those little slats in there are neat, but what if you had something that was even neater?
Okay, neater.
That was even cooler. But if you put that in there, all of a sudden, it transforms.
Yeah, I agree. I really like the mixture of metal and wood.
Tom had to hit the road, so Bob and I are still trucking. You know, we're gonna keep this thing going.
Since it runs well, might as well have it look nice.
Hey, back window, clean engine, the whole
Yeah.
9 yards.
Yeah.
Bob was cleaning up the engine, and I wanted to finish off this storage area in the bed. To fit this up just on the fly like I'm doing is a lot of testing, you know. Put it in place, mark it, react to that. This is my improvised sheet metal brake. I consider one of my greatest assets to work like a caveman. So set up your line, set up a big old hunk of steel, and then clamp it.
It's a pleasure working with Ian, and watching Ian work, I've kind of thought to myself, I need to learn this stuff. Oh yeah, that's nice. It's sweet.
Yeah, that'd make a heck of a cooler.
Yeah.
I have no concerns about the structural integrity of this thing. And I know Tom has some ideas about the paint. We haven't really talked about it. I'm just gonna let things develop. Tom is a friend who works at Encore Auto Detailing. They do powder coating as well as a lot of other stuff, so he dropped off a few parts with him. I got the cab ready for paint, and I'm curious to see what Tom has in mind.
Hey,
Yo-ho.
man,
It's happening, baby.
you got a lot done.
Yeah, it's totally bodywork. Primer is dry, ready to rock, whatever you want to do.
Well, speaking of paint,
Yeah.
I've got an idea. I took this panel to the paint shop,
Right,
and I had them match this green right here,
right.
and loaded it up in some rattle cans, right? And see how it's all nice and patina. It got a little bit of white and some ruddy red.
Right.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna layer the paint, then coat it in the green, and then I'm gonna hit it with some sandpaper, some Scotch-Brite, and try to get this,
Like faux finish.
yeah, exactly.
That's a cool idea.
Ultimately, my goal is to make it look like nothing has ever happened to this pickup cab.
Yeah, if you can match this to what you got going on, then nobody will ever consider that this back wall was even messed with, which is kind of neat. I'm interested to see how this develops.
Yeah, me too. I think I'm gonna give it a shot.
Have you ever done this before?
I've never done this before, and we'll see what happens.
I like Tom's concept, and I really like the fact that Tom is embracing the idea of just winging it.
Working on the last piece that I thought I would need to build, and that's this windshield detail. How are you planning on holding the glass in for the front windshield?
I didn't have much plans for that at all. I mean, I figured Lexan, screw it in, slap some sealer all the way around it.
Like race car style or
Yeah,
something?
and we're done.
I was looking at the way that this windshield area is set up, and it has these two lugs in it, just like the Model A, where it would have those little dials that flip out at the bottom. I was thinking about making one like the Model A. Let me show you Bob's setup, and I could pretty much duplicate it.
Okay.
Maybe even make it better.
Model A Ford has a similar style windshield frame, so I wanted to show Tom Bob's car.
You know, the cool feature of this is that they pivot out, so, you know, it gets hot inside the car all the time. So it's got a little lock nut, and then these deals push out the window so you can drive around with ventilation.
Ian's window idea kind of reminds me of my dad's hot rod pickup from when I was a kid. It had a safari window. I like the idea.
You know, this is a little more stylized, I guess. If we had one of these frames to modify, I would do that for sure, but I could take some aluminum C-channel and mimic this design.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's definitely better than what I had in mind. It's gonna remind me of my dad every time I pop open that window.
Awesome.
I'm getting started on the windshield frame, and Tom's jumped right into the paint. Tom's just got the style, you know? He's like the Fred Astaire of the paint world, you know? He's got a flow, he's got a rhythm, he's dancing it. Pretty interesting process.
So I'm gonna start by just making a frame out of this square steel.
This truck's been around a while. There's been a lot of different hands in the process, so someone's changed the center of the windshield upper portion for some reason, and it's really misaligned.
You know, you want the top of the windshield to be straight because there's gonna be a hinge up here. Look how far off that is.
Yeah, somebody hit that with a grinder.
That's way out, yeah.
Just like most things I fabricate, I start with a template and then I make a final piece. So this steel part I'm making is the template for the aluminum frame that's gonna be there in the end.
So now you can really see, you know, that little gap difference. I'm gonna take this whole thing out, but that's perfect. I'll make one more of these and then just put it together. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the point where I become concerned. That's like nothing I've ever seen before.
Making the aluminum frame in the end is pretty specialized. I have the big TIG welder at my shop, so this isn't a job to be done on location. The template I can bring back, come back with the new one.
That's the shape of the windshield frame, and it's even as opposed to the truck. Whoa! It's like St. Patrick's Day up in here. Look at that green. That is hideous.
It's gonna be a process. And yeah, I hope it works.
I'll try not to judge the work until it's done. really cool to see Tom taking the reins on this paint. You know, he's got a plan and he's going for it.
Pretty crazy, man. I didn't know where you're going with this, but now I can see all these different values coming through as you scuff it up.
Watching Ian, I've learned sometimes you just got to get in there and go. And that's pretty much what I'm doing with this paint.
I know it's 5 times more work to make it look like nothing happened, but I get it.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna see how bad I can make it look, you know, but you know, in a cool way.
That's what I'm seeing all over this truck, right? It's not just patina, it's like abuse.
Right,
There's a lot of
exactly.
damage you
Yeah.
gotta replicate.
Tom's getting all Bob Ross on it, you know. He's got some happy little details over here. He's got some conceptual stuff over there. This looks like it might work.
Ah,
I've got patina.
that looks horrible, man. You're doing a great job.
You know, I had faith the whole time.
Hey, I'm gonna cut apart your truck once more, so.
Again?
It's gonna make the windshield a little better. This front angle iron, I'm gonna get rid of it. I'm gonna make a whole new mount for the windshield.
Brought the template back to my shop and made the same windshield frame shape out of aluminum C-channel. Put an aluminum piano hinge on it and showed it to Tom.
So while you're doing all that scratching and scuffing, I got your window frame.
Awesome.
Got a little hinge on there, and then that fits right up in here.
Oh, nice.
The advantage of making an aluminum windshield frame is that it looks cool. You know, when somebody looks at it and you say, oh yeah, it's hand built, you know, it just gets extra points with the judges.
So we'll put a lot more screws in, but the proof is in the test. Does it close?
It shuts.
Not too bad for some old scrap aluminum.
That looks great, man.
So you can see how flimsy it is. What I really want to do is, in addition to putting glass in here, I'll put the knobs on there and then the little sliders, so you could set it, you know, I mean, if you wanted, you could set it way out here.
Now, I love it when Ian does something outside the box or really extra cool. He's taking my build up just an extra level.
We're definitely hustling this, man. It's gonna happen for sure. We just got a couple more details, assembly, modifications, and this baby's ready to rock.
Tom's club event is only a couple days away. We got a bunch of assembly to do. I got a couple surprises. You know, we got to get things finished. Got this truck just about wrapped up. Tom really pulled off this paint job. He's been working overtime. Brought it out here to Hot Rod Bob's compound, his testing facility. It's looking good.
I feel great, man. I look at the truck and it's like I can't stop looking at it. It's so cool looking. Yeah, I got these mufflers from Porter and I think they look great and they sound fantastic.
It's all about the details in the end. He's got the grille all finished, the headlights installed, the rims are powder coated. This looks awesome, dude. I mean, the patina is something I wasn't expecting at all.
Right,
It's freaking cool. Everything about this truck came together like really clean, man.
Yeah.
The clincher for our deadline was this car club meet that Tom's been talking about. He's invited everybody over. Today is the day, and the truck is here.
The Defenders Car Club, man, it's just a great bunch of people. Yeah, there it is. Check it out. They've seen the truck from the beginning. They've seen it when it was just a rusty cab and bed and had no hope.
I remember the day you got it. You were like all proud of it. We're all going,
It's really cool to see their reaction to the truck, you know. They're walking around it, they're checking it out. Yeah, Ian built this trunk area in here.
Oh, it's a great little truck.
And we're getting the thumbs up from everybody.
I think the biggest satisfaction of getting this build together is the fact that it really does look like a timepiece. It looks like nothing ever happened to this truck, which is pretty different for me. It's kind of awesome.
Oh, I love it. I just like the stance and the looks of it. It's got the right look for what I like as far as a hot rod. The truck actually has history, so that's pretty cool to put that back on the road and have it keep some of its original look to it.
I heard there was going to be a race. We came here on a mission. There's a reason we came to the racetrack. Tom wants to race Bob, or maybe Bob wants to race Tom. I don't know how it's going to work out, but there's 2 cars here, and they're going in the dirt.
There's no time like the present. Now, I want you to remember one thing. Go that way really fast.
I'm not saying that I'm gonna win or anything, you know, but it'll be a lot of fun to just get out there with them and tear it up.
I know he doesn't stand a chance. I have a little bit of practice on this track.
I'm here strictly for moral support. It's like a parent raising their child. I've done all they can, and now it's time to set them free.
I'm having fun. I'm all in it. I'm going for it. And then nothing.
This is just par for the course. You know, it's a maiden voyage. It runs great in the driveway. You start slamming it around the dirt, there's gonna be a fail rate.
Here I am. I just built this hot rod pickup. I'm out here having fun with it. I got all my friends watching. The truck dies on me.
That is dry. Yeah. Tap on the float bolts to see if it helps or something. Don't be so traumatized, man. I've been doing this for 20 years plus. This is typical.
Come to find out, it was the fuel cap, not venting. So fix that, and it runs great.
The truck fires right back up, and I'm back in it.
All right, champ. Now, I don't want this little setback to get you down. We're still in the race, man. I got some leeway with the referees, and they're gonna give you a timeout on this one. And I think we can come back stronger than before. The thing here is all attitude. You know, you can't get rattled.
Ian's being a really good pit boss, and I'm digging it. I'm loving the help.
This is the vintage race that you read about. 34 internationals racing a Model A Ford. I mean, this is cool old-time stuff.
Yeah, that's how you do it, man.
So I get out there on the track, you know, the first couple laps, and I'm loving it, man. I'm learning what the truck can do and what it's responding to. I'm loving this truck, man. I can't stop saying it. I really do. I love it.
Tom pulls in, and he's all smiles. The truck's running good, sounds good, it's looking good. The biggest takeaway from this build is the satisfaction of helping a couple guys out who have done so much for me. That's the way car clubs work, is people help each other out, and this is proof in the pudding.
For him to have his truck out here and everybody hooping and hollering at him was really bitching. I mean, that was so cool for Tommy.
Yeah, I built this!
Whenever I've worked with Ian, it's the hardest I've ever worked in my life. It's ridiculous, you know, but I'm inspired to keep looking for another project.
Ian, and he's such a hard worker and he gets things done fast. And to see him do his magic was crazy.
Tom's truck is a success. You know, this is a good day, good get-together party. I think my job is done here. On to the next.